कलशं दधदर्ण वाद्यः पीयूषपूर्ण ममरात्वकृते सुराणां रोगजालजीर्ण जनताजनितः प्रशंसो धन्वन्तरिच भगवान् भविकाय भूयात्। श्री धन्वन्तराय नमः। ओम शांति, ओम शांति, ओम शांति। Hariom, Namaskar. Welcome to all dignitaries of the dais and on the dais. I would like to communicate my sincere thanks with gratitude to all speakers who have supported us, blessed the Ayush Samriddhi platform with short notice. Kindly excuse me for short notice as I am conducting, we are conducting, not I am sorry, I am not alone. I have guardians with me, BP Sharma ji, Agnihotri ji, Patankar ji, Madan Thangavelu ji. Everybody has guided me, has blessed me to continue this milestone journey, which is now today we have reached, we have crossed 300 and now we are reaching towards 400 within 2 or 3 months next. So on different topics, with different experts to celebrate every day with modern tuning, because Ayurveda has to go to the society and society must regard us, which has been started with the blessings of COVID-19. I say blessings of COVID-19 to promote Ayurveda and aware the society regarding benefits of Ayurveda, safe, effective and non-toxic. So we have won the battle at initial stage. Now our efforts to communicate our Ayurveda, only way is there that we will celebrate every day, whatever day is being celebrated by modern world. So from last 1.5 years, we have started this journey of Ayush Samriddhi everyday celebration. Previously, we did webinars on COVID, then on diseases. So everybody is repeating the same thing. So to create newness, to negate the negativity of COVID-19, we have started this journey in fresh, new manner, and we are celebrating today in National Inventors Day. And I am really proud of our speakers today who are inventors, who have thought beyond the limits of normal Ayush or Ayurveda. Their creations, their concepts, their proposals have been accepted by the doctors and government of India also. I must congratulate Mr. Padmanabhan ji and Anirudh for their recognition by ministry in government of India. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite Dr. Sanjay Chhajed first. Dr. Sanjay Chhajed, my younger brother, we both are from Jamnagar, 1 year here and here. So for moderation, today's moderation, I would like to invite Dr. Sanjay Chhajed. Welcome, Dr. Sanjay ji. वैद्य संजय छाजेड़ जी,
भगवान धन्वंतरी को प्रणाम करते हुए आज इस नेशनल इनोवेशन डे, इस इंडिपेंडेंट रिसर्च एथिक्स सोसाइटी के द्वारा आयोजित आयुष समृद्धि सेमिनार में आप सभी का तहे दिल से स्वागत है। अभी भैया जी ने जो बात कही कि कोविड की कृपा से, और जो ये कोविड की कृपा का सही मायने में आयुर्वेद में जिन्होंने उपयोग किया है, उन चंद महानुभावों में सबसे ऊपरी नाम अगर हम देखें किसी का तो वो पवन भाई श्री का है और इंडिपेंडेंट रिसर्च एथिक्स सोसाइटी का है। इस सोसाइटी के माध्यम से रियली एक इनोवेटिव पद्धति से आयुर्वेद के ज्ञान को कालानुरूप युगानुरूप बनाने का एक बहुत बड़ा साहसी कदम पवन सर ने लिया और इसमें हमारे जैसे छोटे छोटे पुर्जे बहुत सारे जुड़े, बहुत सारे महानुभावों का आशीर्वाद उनको प्राप्त है। हमारे गुरुदेव हरिशंकर शर्मा सर, जिनका आशीर्वाद नित्य हमारे सभी के मस्तिष्क पर रहता है, और साथ में आज हमारे साथ सभी बड़े लोग जो उपस्थित हैं, उनका सभी का सहयोग मिलकर ये आयुष समृद्धि सेमिनार रोज जो नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल डे डिक्लेयर किए जाते हैं, उन विषयों पर आयुर्वेद का मंतव्य क्या है, इसको दुनिया के सम्मुख लाने का प्रयास, और न सिर्फ प्रयास, मैं तो कहूंगा कि एक बड़ा यशस्वी कदम इस आयुष समृद्धि सेमिनार द्वारा हो रहा है। इसके साथ जुड़ने में मैं हमेशा गर्व महसूस करता हूं, क्योंकि एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जो सभी जगह से, कोने कोने से ढूंढ ढूंढ कर लोगों को लाता है। आज हमारे बीच सभी इनोवेटर्स हैं, इनोवेटर्स जिन्होंने नई सोच से कुछ निर्माण किया, और न सिर्फ निर्माण किया पर उसको प्रैक्टिस में कैसे उतारा जाए, इसका उपयोगिता निर्माण की। आज मैं सबसे पहले आमंत्रित करना चाहता हूं आयुर्वेदम के रामनाथ पद्मनाभन जी को। मैं बड़ा फॉर्चुनेट हूं कि इस आयुर्वेदम की गतिविधियों में मैं अपना छोटा सा योगदान दे सकता हूं, और नाड़ी परीक्षा जैसे विषय पर, जहां पर अनिरुद्ध जी ने बड़ा काम करते हुए एक यंत्र की निर्मित की और वैद्यों के लिए एक सहायक रूप में यंत्र निर्माण किया, पर नाड़ी परीक्षा जनमानस तक उस यंत्र के द्वारा नहीं पहुंच पाई, वैद्यों तक पहुंची। इट वॉज ओनली रीचिंग टू द डॉक्टर्स, स्पेसिफिकली द आयुर्वेदा डॉक्टर्स। बट I would salute Ramnath sir for thinking out of the box and making this particular knowledge set and skills available to common man for his day-to-day life, to manage what is happening in his body, to understand what is going inside, and providing him support system with yoga, lifestyle management, herbal medicines and Ayurveda, giving out the best of everything in a mobile application. Mobile these days are with everyone, and having a mobile application made Nadi Pariksha so fantastically and easily accessible and available to every single person who is caring about his health. Ayurvedam has made a paradigm shift in the understanding of pearls for every common being. I would like to invite Ramnath sir, and let us not waste our time in listening to me, and get from the horse's mouth what is the journey of Ayurvedam and how it is going to change. Remember what I am using the words, how it is going to change the everyday life of a common man, everyday life with the help of easy instruments for Ayurveda doctors to give the directions and directives how to live a healthy life. Ramnath sir, the field is all yours.
Thank you so much, sir. संजय सर हमारा गुरु है, सिर्फ नाड़ी गुरु नहीं है, हमारा गुरु भी है। जैसे हमने यंत्र बनाया उनका हेल्प से ही हमने बनाया था। Thank you so much, sir. Pawanji, and thanks once again for inviting us. And, so that we could have this dialogue with, the Ayurvedic community, right? We are, as you see, we are all engineers, right? I'm humbly saying that, see, this was born not out of, the desire for profit or anything, right? It came primarily because of curiosity, our engineering mindset, and wanting to do something for our age-old traditional wisdom. There was no big a big vision or big plan or anything behind that. Just do a little bit for Ayurveda and our own culture. That was the background behind this. So if you see, three of us, we are friends and neighbors. So we play together, we play cricket together, we golf together. Abhilash ji is actually in the call. He was a guy, he's an avid healthcare gadget user. Like, he used to use Fitbits, Garmins, and watches. And, he has done a lot, in weight management. He lost his weight, from 108 kg to, he came down to 80 kgs, using variety of method. And what he found was through his journey that as we grow, older, one aspect is that, this heavy exercise, is not sustainable. That's one, as you move closer to 35, 40, right? That was one. So I'm just talking about our journey, right? Second thing is like, people of today's lifestyle is not just about, fitness. Every day you keep hearing, somebody who looks very fit, muscular, they're running on the treadmill, 5 minutes down the line, they fall down and they unfortunately pass away. We see celebrity people we know, right? We have heard of this news. So it is not just about fitness, it is about actually the wellness. How you manage your mind, body, and metabolism, right? It's something which needs to come together, something which needs to come holistically. So what happened was, this was, the background, right? And at that time, I was working for a company called Intel. Intel, if you know, it is the world's #1 chip manufacturer. I used to manage their healthcare strategy for India. So we built a band-aid, a sticker, which you can put on the chest, and it measures blood pressure continuously. So we were talking, Abhilash was a gadget user, Sandeep was an engineer, a computer science engineer working on healthcare and medical device data analytics. So we were friends, so we started talking about this patch and thought, we'll do something with the patch, because there is a need for this. Then so soon we realized that, there are bigger opportunities out there, right? So incidentally, Sri, used to come to our place, to do Nadi Pariksha. So we were sitting there, and we were fascinated that, a Nadi Vidwan can actually place 3 fingers on the radial artery and magically tell you, for us it was magical, the first experience, tell you what imbalances here you have, what you should do, what you should not do, probably even diseases. So the engineer in us, it kind of kindled the interest. We said, okay, look, if somebody is doing this, with hand, there should be some underlying measurement which is happening. Maybe it is not well written, but it is happening in their mind. So we try to find out from the variety of literature, and including, Dr. Lard's work, and also Dr. Nagendra, who had written a paper on Nadi Pariksha, how to blend modern science with, Ayurveda. So we looked at that, so coming from the medical device space, we knew instantly there is something which we could do, right? So we looked at it, we understood some of the parameters, and our first instance was actually to create a device, like a band, a wristband or a chest band, something which we could give, to the masses. Then we figured out that, this itself may not be enough, because not many, there are a lot of people with band, usage is increasing, but there are many people without the band. Then we started looking at mobile phone, because each mobile phone comes with a lot of sensors today. Statistics is, there are 15 to 20 sensors on the phone, and it is increasing. So we thought, okay, can we use this sensor to create something? So that's why we looked at, how we can do, a Nadi Pariksha with a mobile phone camera. That's how we came to that. I will talk about the solution a little bit. This was the background. Then we built this. We consulted with several experts. We took it to Ministry of Ayush. We got the feedback. And from there, many of the doctors and Ayurveda experts, they were kind enough to educate us how Ayurveda works. What is Prakriti, what is dosha, how to measure Prakriti using questionnaire, how you can measure dosha, what are the different methods. So we took all this experience and we put our engineering brains together, and that is what you see as a solution. So this is what I have. I will just go through the solution. I'm going to skip this part. I'm preaching to the choir. It's a Ayurvedic community. So what exactly does Ayurveda do, right? Again, going back, there is Prakriti, there is Vikriti. If you know the difference between Prakriti and Vikriti, we know what the imbalance is. Then we can actually tell people what yogas to do, not to do, what supplements to take, not to take, what diet, meditation. All of these things are very well documented. Food, everything is documented in Ayurveda, what you should do or not to do. So we thought we'll give a just-in-time solution to people by just making a simple measure. They can get an idea of where they are and understand Ayurveda. And then as their need grows, we also envision that the technology will connect them to the experts. See, one of the challenge also is to find the good experts and get the consult wherever you are, because distances, because your doctor you want maybe in some other city, so or the specialist you want maybe in some other place, like you are finding it hard to visit. So bringing all these pieces together in one place, it's sort of a overreaching vision. So what the solution we have is very simple. You have to take 30 questions. The 30 questions, would establish Prakriti. Again, how we arrive at the 30 questions, there is a long, story. So when we visited Ministry of Ayush, they gave us about 230 questions. And what we found was, our idea was to have a consumer wellness solution, not a solution for a doctor or something, right? Probably we'll get there, at some point of time with a lot of validation and all. But to start with, to educate consumer about Ayurveda, understand the balance and imbalance, and get them into the Ayurvedic ecosystem. That's a bigger goal. So what we did is we did this, with this Healthcare Global Cancer Hospital, which was then headed by Dr. Raghavendra, who happens to be part of Ministry of Ayush. And we did this factor analysis. So we took 230 questions. We sent this questionnaire to 600 subjects. And through statistical method, we correlated those questions which correlates very well with the final results, which is the Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. So from there, so it was a balance between keeping the consumer interested and not also losing the authenticity. So using that method, we came down to 30 questions, and this 30 questions, we gave it to several other individual practitioners. We gave it to different doctors, and who are given us, they looked at it and they said, this is good enough for wellness. They have given us certificate. The second part is, the digital Nadi Pariksha to measure your current balance or your Vikriti. And this is method I will talk about. Here, the user experiences, you place your finger on the mobile phone camera for 30 seconds. If it is Android phone, it is front camera. If it is iOS, it's back camera. You keep it for 30 seconds and it comes with your Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. So I'll just talk about how that algorithm actually works. So what we do is, when you place your finger for 30 seconds, we take a series of pictures. We take a photo, and the red and it is there is a lot of work in the Western literature, not just in India, US, Europe. There are tons of paper written about how in a normal phone camera with adequate lighting, the red and green values actually correlates very well with your photoplethysmograph. It's nothing but if you take if you are COVID, today everybody has we do the RGB, we remove the noise and we process that, and then using this, which is nothing but heart rate, your systolic and diastolic blood pressure, pulse pressure, which is the difference between these two, then your heart rate variability, your arterial stiffness, and the shape of the pulse. So today we only do 3, and in diabetes and hypertension, we are working on it still in our labs, but we measure the 7, and then into, if you looked at Dr. Lard's work, in high means, is Vata, mid means, Pitta, and low means Kapha. So based on that logic, and using this data science, we have actually created this, convert this into high, medium, low, and then you get your current, imbalance. So that once you get your, your Prakriti and your current dosha, then, I can find the deviation. So for this person, the Pitta is aggravated. Then, this knowledge is there, right? We know what yogas are good for Pitta reduction, right? And what the yogas to do, what to avoid, those things are there. So we have created a large database of 250 yogas. We soon, we'll have 600 yogas in that, with video and to showing people how to do it. We have audio for meditation. We have kriyas, mudras. All of this, we have documented, made into a database in the electronic form, which you can actually you can get this recommendation for you. And if that is not enough, we also have, once you know the balance and imbalance, you can also choose some goals. So this is all do it yourself kind of thing, primarily for wellness. So if you want to improve immunity, or you want to reduce stress, you take your imbalance and look for those, for example, if you are Pitta Pradhan, it gives you 10 yogas, then we look for combination of yoga which pacifies Pitta as well as reduces stress for Pitta. So we give you those kind of recommendations. So we have everything in the database. Now we have also started this, it is not very aggressive. So we are very early stage company, we're going through a lot of fundraising. That's what you could have seen in the tank also. So we are also starting to list trainers. Initially we have picked only 4 or 5 because wanted to learn, this whole process. Has been giving me a lot of feedback, so we're trying to incorporate all those things in our next version of the app. So we are learning. This is a constant learning process. So with that, we'll have a newer version which will list, these, trainers, allow people to give custom programs. That's one part. There are a lot of these Ayurvedic companies, direct to consumer brands, which want to list in our, in our app. So we'll soon have a marketplace. So you can list your products also. So we are building the infrastructure where, we can, pick a product and deliver, those kind of things, right? It's a lot of work, from a software point of view and also from a infrastructure and logistic point of view. So we are doing everything now in the next version, which should be soon coming. We'll be approaching all of you, like, to get your help to get listed and, get products on board, where we can do a complete solution. So the idea is, the idea is never to replace any doctor or consultant, but primarily, it is, you should think of it as a way to get people educated on Ayurveda, understand this, and then with the knowledge, come and use this ecosystem, bring them into the Ayurvedic ecosystem in an interesting way, so that the larger community can benefit. So that's a larger vision behind this. There are other sort of features we have. We can, this is a deviation, day to day, weekly, monthly, how your deviation, how far you are achieving close to your Prakriti, you can see. I talked about this, if you're an expert user, you can create your own list. You can create your Monday yoga list, Tuesday pranayam list, the food list, all those things you can do. We have also the home remedies, we have taken, from various literature and 1,500 home remedies, which you can search and, practice it if you need. And we also have this loyalty program, which we are starting to roll out, which is called IUCs. It's an internal currency. So we can reward users, for behavior. If they take a test and share it with, with the counselor, then, they can get the point, which, which gives them again, the taking a consult gives them some discount, or if they buy a product, they can get discount. So this is a way to, what they call gamification. The younger crowd, they constantly need to be motivated, right? So this is it's a way to motivate people. So this is the entire solution. So this is probably my last slide, post Shark Tank, we have almost, crossing 500,000 users. I remember 2-3 months back when I came, I had like 150,000 users. So we are crossing, almost 500,000 users. Our app is being downloaded and used in 130 countries or more, actually. I should check the latest number. So we have several things, we are probably one of the few healthcare companies. I wouldn't say even Ayurvedic, few healthcare companies in India to be part of the Ayurvedic design, Apple's design accelerator, which is, I think it's a great honor, not just for us, just for Ayurveda also, because because of this, we could speak to a senior executive, like somebody who is a doctor called Dr. Mike O'Reilly, who invented pulse plethysmography you are using today, right? And he is, he's second level from Tim Cook, CEO -2. He gave us time, he gave us 1 hour time because we're doing traditional medicine. based on pulse plethysmograph. He pulled us into the accelerator. We got a lot of support from Apple to how to go about building this app. So, Ayurveda is actually is kind of recognized, I think, much better outside India also, and we need a modern methods to capitalize on this. We are part of this Lumos accelerator by HCG and Antil. Again, which is run by Ministry of IT. We graduated from that Chirate Venture program. We are part of content partner to Geo. So the content and all, we can actually post on Geo and pull people into Ayurveda. So we have all those things, and we have been covered extensively by press and things like this. So this is a kind of our very interesting 3-4 year journey. Like we learned a lot, and we are continuously learning. And we need your continued support from this community, to make it meaningful, and useful to the masses, right? So that's what I had. If time allows, I can try.
Excellent, Dr. Ramanathan.
Give a demo, if that helps.
If you really want
to, so let me try to log in from
part of the Ayurveda, which can be useful for the doctors, because this program has been attended largely by the health workers, basically Ayurveda doctors and the students across the globe.
Okay, sir.
पद्मनाभम जी, एक इसमें थोड़ा सा मेरा क्वेश्चन था, क्या ये हम जनरल पब्लिक से आशा कर सकते हैं कि वो सेल्फ डायग्नोसिस कर सकेगी?
नहीं
है,
दो चीजें हैं जो
ये मेरे मन
आयुर्वेदम के साथ जुड़ा हुआ हूं, तो मैं ये इसका जवाब मैं देना चाहूंगा थोड़ा सा।
सर, इट्स नॉट दे कैन, हाँ जी।
Basically, sir, the more of what happens is there is some kind of myths about pulse diagnosis and reading the even the plethysmograph. So everybody thinks when you are putting something like pulse diagnosis, it makes us to diagnose a disease. And he has very categorically said that it is not replacing the doctors, but it can help the doctor to make it more personalized. It can help the common man to identify the wellness issues based on Ayurveda. Right now, there are hundreds of wellness instruments available, but none of them are used for Ayurveda. So this is a kind of instrumentation which is an application free to download, which can be used by common people to understand their health and help them to maintain the health in proper way. When it comes to a disease condition, probably I think Ramnath sir will agree with me that we need a doctor to make a diagnosis.
Turya and Nadi Tarangini will come into the picture. No,
Nadi Tarangini will come into the picture when, because
yes, they are Nadi Tarangini.
And of course,
because I am also very much impressed with Anirudh, who has already this concept has implemented through Nadi Tarangini, and now he is moving towards Turya.
Ramnath sir, can I just request you one thing? Can you just give us some idea of the future, not about how you are going to market, but the future products which can be used by the doctors?
Sir, from okay, 1 second. Let me turn the video on again. Sir, from a doctor perspective, see, the way we think about this is, it's a customer acquisition tool. See, it's a way, like people have app, right? And one of the things is like, when we did, when we did the market research, we found that people have a very good feeling, like people have, when you say Ayurveda, it's a positive experience for a lot of people. But, once you go one level down, right? What is Ayurveda, how the actually measurement happens, how the balance and imbalance is done, how the treatment happens, people don't know. So the way we see it is, think of this as a customer acquisition tool, right? As of today, right? It is something, for people to quickly get, themselves checked and, find, the deviation and, understand the principles, get some simple recommendation, right? But the more complex one would actually need, hand-holding from the, doctor community. So that is one. So that's the first part, the first part of the algorithm. The algorithm, we'll probably try to make it even, better and better. We'll have to do a lot more study to make it diagnostic quality, right? We don't know whether with the phone and the camera, whether it reaches there. So that is, an attempt, we are doing. The second thing is, there are a lot of things, people don't like, in terms of roadmap. people don't like answering questions, right? Is your color black, color of the hair black, are you bald, are you white, today, there are many of these technologies, which you can use from the phone. You don't have to ask a lot of questions. So a lot of things, if you take a selfie, a lot of things can be found algorithmically and you can confirm, right? So think of it like it's a data acquisition tool, for which, you will find, in a clinical practice. This we have heard also, like you go to a busy Ayurvedic doctor, there is no time to take this questionnaire, no time to take this information, right? So if somebody can do it offline, then, this will, this is something which you can feed. Third is, the third part of the customer acquisition. The third part of the customer strategy is like we think that, we may be able to screen people with certain diseases. And it is, this is not Ramnath talking. This is like, there is a lot of work in the Western literature, which talks about, see what we have told, millions of, thousands of years back, right? It is possible to just look at the pulse and tell whether somebody has disease A or B. There is also emerging evidence elsewhere. So we'll be riding on top of that and creating, like again, a funnel for you. That's the way I see it. Yes. If you can find, for example, the public health problem is, a lot of diabetics or hypertensive people, they don't know. They may be hypertensive from 20, but there's no way to detect them and bring them into the formal system, right? So yes, we are thinking about it. Sorry.
Thank you, Dr. Padmanabhan. Now I would like to request Dr. Anirudh Joshi. He is also from IIT PhD, and in my opinion, in India, he has launched first Nadi Tarangini, because I am also using Nadi Tarangini from the beginning and getting satisfactory results there. And now he is so dynamic that beyond that, he has planned to promote Turiya in big manner. I would like to welcome
before Anirudh sir starts his discourse. Right? I would like to say a few words about Anirudh ji.
Welcome.
He is one of the early Indians who really thought that Nadi can be used, identified, the variations in the Nadi can be identified electronically, and the data can be well managed, and it can be helped for understanding the disease for the doctors. Earlier, his tool, Nadi Tarangini, which we all are using for years together now, is meant for doctor. But now he is coming out with Turiya. And Turiya is a personal diagnostic tool. Because ultimately, Ayurveda has got very fantastic phenomena, that is personalization. And that personal identification of medicines is something where Ayurveda will always stand out. And I really appreciate and hope that the Anirudh ji, who has been in this field from 2004, he has created his first machine in 2004, marketed in 2014 after a lot of study and efforts put into that. And the machine, which has been used by large number of techno-savvy Ayurveda doctors, and they all are extremely happy with the output of Nadi Tarangini. And I'm sure that not only Nadi Tarangini, even today Nadi Tarangini is in lot of demand, and with his Turiya, he is going to change once again the identity of wellness through Ayurveda. Anirudh sir, please tell us more about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chajar sir, for the kind words. Thank you, Sharma sir, for inviting. Namaste, Agnihotriji ji. After a long time, we are meeting again. Let me share the screen. Let me know when my screen is visible.
Yes, visible.
Yes, namaste everyone again. I'm not going to take much today because I think I have already talked enough last time about a couple of months ago, almost 1.5 hours of where we were, what we have done, and what are our results and so on. So I've summarized everything into one slide actually, at the moment. That it started as an experience that my father had with a Vaidya, and there as an engineer, I thought this science has to reach out to millions of people in the right fashion. And so we are creating the portable predictive system based on data science, based on Ayurveda, and so on. So as part of PhD, I tried with various different types of sensors to, try to mimic the Ayurvedic Nadi Pariksha methodology, because it's very important that the kind of feeling information a Vaidya has, it has to be computed, it has to be generated, it has to be recorded, so that it can be looked into, compared to reports, numbers, comparisons, so that it comes into today's language of so that everyone follows that particular procedure, similar to what Ayurveda just explained. From the fingertip, they are reading the plethysmograph, and through the redness of hue, they are giving some information with respect to Vat, Pitta, Kapha, and so on. And ultimately, it's helping the people. So my journey started with my PhD thesis. We got a CSIR grant from NCL, where we proved on more than 25,000 people's data how pulse pattern is different for many people for various disorders and so on. And that's how we started our journey. In 2015, I started my company. 16, I launched Nadi Tarangini after a long time. And many doctors were involved into this, providing various types of information. It's a long journey. I think we have just finished 1 decade, and it's a couple of more decades it will take just to understand what is Nadi. This is my personal belief, and we are working in that direction, because Nadi is very complicated. I mean, right now what we just have is Vakvit Kaf and a few more details about Nadi Gunas and so on. But going down to subdoshas, to dhatu levels, and relating them to various root causes of various people, it will take time. So right now we are a very small company, early stage angel funded company with 500 plus doctors. Our database is 1.5 lakh patients, 50 lakh patients on our database, on which our algorithms are tuned up. We launched Turiya a few months back for consumer space, and we have just pivoted it a couple of months back in a different direction. I'll talk about it some other time, but based on the data, and the last time I showed you that how this data is correlated to various Ayurveda shlokas and other shlokas and so on, and how we are really able to show how Vata people, how Pitta people, how Kapha people are different during different seasons, how they are different in different prahas, how digestion changes with lunar cycle, how it is different in the morning, how it is different in the evening, how different gunas are different in lunar cycles, and how really we can make contribution to these people, that if something is wrong for a particular person in this particular season, what can be predicted and what should be given in terms of diet, in terms of yoga, in terms of different types of interventions, so that we can solve this problem. So I think truly Atmanirbhar, that we are going super vocal for our local language of Ayurveda, truly Atmanirbhar, truly make in India, that this information of a few thousands year old, it has great knowledge, and we are trying to extract it bits and by pieces, so that ultimately it has value for common people. So currently we are working on something very very niche, and maybe I will talk about it some other time. 2 pilot projects are going on number of people, and something which we have come up with, its beta is already successful, and in 3 to 6 months down the line we'll launch it in a really grand way. A few clinical trials are also going on, various colleges, hospitals, allopathic hospitals, and so on, so that even that journey has started. It will take its own time to prove a few things and come up with in that direction. So taking my last lecture ahead, just one slide from the previous lecture, that ECG is now established in last 200 years, and doctors are really making sense of what is a ECG signal, what are different components of that, and how do I correlate those signals back to the heart, and so how to go inside the heart and make the treatment for that heart. And through oximeters or various products, you get something like PTVD. I mean, this kind of structure where a few frequency components are there, and you get some information about the pulse. Essentially, the problem which we are solving is in this figure, small figure, that typically PTVD, but sometimes the tidal wave is missing, sometimes the valley is missing, sometimes everything is missing, sometimes you get multiple peaks at the top, multiple peaks at the necrotic wave, and so on. It's a very complex system, and very heavy concentration meditation. The Vaidyas are able to find out the inter and intra variability of these the heavy peaks, intermediate peaks, and so on. And and then they correlate to various gatis of various animals, birds, and so on. We saw that in last lecture. And ultimately, when a doctor feels, they are not just feeling vata on vata finger, they are also feeling vata on pitta finger, vata on kapha finger, different types of subdoshas on each finger. It's a very complex system. We just received a very nice software from one of the very renowned scientists, doctors from the South India, who has made a 3D bodily functionalities from pulse. I mean, if you have pulse in so and so fashion, you can reach out to some disorders in 3D fashion, and so on. So we are trying to incorporate that. We are still working on that, long way. But as it's a Guru Shishya Parampara based system. High concentration, high meditation, high experience is required. I'm very happy that we got in our early stage the blessings and teachings from Dr. Ashok Bhatt of Pune, who taught us in various fashions. I mean, various fashions, when I say, I was showing this, I didn't show this last time, but there were many questions. So I thought, let me put 3 or 4 slides only of what I missed or the kind of questions I received last time. So, when you see a system anywhere in the world, whether it's a household system or whether it's a share market system or something with respect to population or Nadi or anything with respect to earthquakes or anything, basically every system is connected. Every system is non-linear. Every system is self-similar. And every system has similar patterns in its either its shape or time series or images or whatever we call them. For example, he used to teach us, all different types of, similar to, Vatpit Kaf through snake movement or Manduka movement or Hamsa movement. He used to teach us through, various, whatever is available at home or at clinic and so on. For example, if I have a knife in hand, what is tikshnata of knife, what is sukshmata of knife, what is kathinta of knife, and so on. And ultimately, so if you feel that on your wrist for a particular patient, what exactly you are feeling, how many locations at which you can feel this. And then ultimately, if a system is sthula sthama sukshma or sthula sukshma sama or sukshma sthula sama and so on. So you can see that there are infinite number of combinations which relate, which we can ultimately, correlate to various physiological and other types of aspects of the person. So we are, I mean, it's a very early statement, but we are moving in that direction, taking pulse, understanding deeper into its patterns, relating them to various aspects of that person, and deciphering the whole knowledge of Ayurvedic Nadi Pariksha. One of the questions that I had last time was about, when you use Nadi Pariksha, whether this system or other system, you receive Nadi, you feel Nadi, you sense Nadi at various pressure levels at the same locations. of course, at multiple locations, not just Vatpitta Kapha location, but multiple locations at the same wrist location. So just for showing purpose, we are working on this, but if I take Nadi using Nadi Tarangani and if I start pressing the sensors more and more for the same person, you get different signals. So this is just Vata signal of that particular person for longer duration and collected at different pressures applied on the sensor. So ultimately applied using the fingertips. There are various references, specifically one of the references is in Dr. Vasant Lad's book, is that at various levels you get different information about the pulse, about the person, about various aspects of Ayurveda and so on. It's a complex system, and you can see at the bottom that different colored images, which is extracted from each of the top 4, is displayed. So when there is no pressure applied, it's obviously the atmospheric pressure which the sensor is picking up. And as you press more and more, your pulse pattern changes, your pulse changes, everything actually changes. And each of them has a different meaning for that particular person or that particular level. So, and when the pressure is highest, obviously the pulse dies. Basically, you don't feel anything, and again you come back, and again you feel various ways. Typically in Nadi Tarangani, when doctors use the systems, they start applying the pressure, and when at a certain location the pulse has a particular rhythmic nature, and we ask them to collect the data. So typically our database, the current database, the whole data set which we have is at level 2 and 3, but ultimately some system will get developed where deeper insights, deeper knowledge will get extracted through Nadi on the wrist. So we do. So last time another question was what type of different analysis that we do. Specifically, my expertise is in wavelet transfer, which is some kind of time frequency analysis. So if I have a 1 minute data, when I say 1 minute data, it's actually 60 seconds into 3 sensors. And from every sensor, we are collecting data at 500 hertz. So it's actually very heavy data, heavy knowledge that is inside. And if I bifurcate that into, the knowledge which I showed on the knife, how many times does it feel Sukshmata? How many times does it feel Kathinta? And then what kind of Kathinta and where exactly that Kathinta is located inside the body or inside the Vata or inside the Kapha, and how to correlate that ultimately to either bodily or physiologically signals and all. And ultimately, each such system is non-linear. So we are working heavily in the embedded system with topology and many more concepts. So currently, we are associated with 3 doctors in Pune and trying to correlate these 3D measures with the pulse which you actually measure. So right now, the whole Nadi wrist information is getting converted into a time series. But it's not 1D, right? It's a 2D, it's a 3D image, which they feel along with temperature, along with this, that, and so many other aspects. So essentially, the 13 measures have been documented. We are currently working with 8, but it has to go deeper and deeper so that it makes sense for the science. To start with, I mean, currently we have about 27 unique Nadi patterns based on the whole data collection and the kind of different inputs that various doctors have given us. And it's getting stronger and stronger day by day. And I think when it reaches out to, in 3 to 6 months, I'm sure I will come back to even better system from consumer point of view. So solution at the moment, Turiya solution is very simple, that you have a personal hardware, you have a personal app, you have a personal health coach, and currently we are working only for Pune. We are figuring out a few things, how to add value to various people. We have started with simple digestion and stress numbers to compute and correlate them to various human values. Very soon we'll be entering the wellness and disease patterns, and of course right now we are giving diet recommendations, exercise recommendations. Dr. Padmanabhan also explained about various some 1500 different aspects and some yoga videos and so on. So different once you understand who that person is, and especially where he or she wants to reach, that journey has to be properly monitored, and whether that person is going, after giving the recommendations, whether they are going in that direction or not. So once you see the Healthy 5 system or Goki system, which are already there in the personalized space, and which are giving these recommendations already, I mean, there's nothing new as far as recommendation system is concerned, but I think more holistic monitoring and from inside, whether we are really making sense in that direction or not, is very important. So Steve Jobs 2007-8 iPhone launch video is truly my inspiration. I'm not a businessman. I'm more a researcher at heart. I'm trying my best to be a businessman and enter into various aspects. But the one thing which he had said was very important, that people who are really serious about software should make their own hardware. I mean, this is what he had said in one of the interviews. Why new phone? Why new device? Why your own device? Why your own software, and so on? So we believe that we are really serious about this science, and we want to make sure that this science reaches out to people in various ways and make a difference to people. So I think it's very important that we, Bharat, India, makes their own devices, and ultimately, make sure that it is exported. I mean, then it's truly Make in India, Atmanirbhar, and it reaches out to the vision of our current Prime Minister, and of course, it helps all. Just I think last slide. When I always talk to my my people in my company that we want to see our name here someday. These are I mean, it's an old list, it's not a new list, but the startups who are transforming healthcare with AI. Very sad that these are all companies from Israel, from the US, from the German, from the Japan, and so on. So I think with the help of Ayurveda, with the help of the current state of AI, machine learning, and many more things, I think if we combine correctly, from traditional Chinese medicine, there are 2 Nobel Prizes now. So I think it's very essential that we also work in that fashion. We extract the knowledge, we extract the science. I mean, it's not something extracting. I mean, I wanted to say was decipher it in such a way that it gets accepted by most of us, and so on. So yes, this slide I had shown last time also. It is, I think, the most favorable timing for technology, the advanced technology in Ayurveda is now, and the sustainable goals which are provided by for the developing countries, especially, talk about the accessible and affordable solutions. I think there is a heavy need, because almost 70% of the deaths are happening because of non-communicable disorders, and they're happening because of the lifestyle issues. So I think it's very essential that we take the preventive actions from Ayurveda and reach out to people. That's all from me today. I think I had covered most of the things last time. So I just thought that I will show different slides, different thought processes, and that's all. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving me this opportunity.
Excellent, Dr. Anirudh.
And,
excellent.
And thinking that, inviting me as one of the innovators in your session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
You are really great innovator, Anirudh. You are really great innovator. You thought at that time when no Ayurvedic person was daring to think. Really great.
And he is still thinking where no Ayurvedic people are yet thinking. And the fantastic thing is, with the knowledge of Nadi Pariksha, we have both the people who are working on it are from technology field.
Yes.
They, of course, they are taking the help of Ayurveda doctors. Anirudh was blessed with his father being an Ayurveda doctor. But this is something we as an Ayurveda doctor need to understand on this Innovation Day, that one has to be relevant to the time. Every science will survive only if it becomes relevant to the time. If we got fixed with those old concepts, with old methodologies and old texts, the relevance will be lost someday. And then when the relevance of the science will be lost, the science will be no more. It will be a dead science. And we have with us one of the person today. Thank you, Anirudh ji, once again, for really enlightening all of us and stimulating the younger generation of Ayurveda to think in the technology perspective of Ayurveda.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Sir, itna bada mat kijiye.
I know you.
I mean, there are many who had thought. I mean, I met so many doctors after I finished my PhD, after I finished my postdoc, that I was thinking about this for last 20 years, 30 years. I mean, people had been thinking about this. I was fortunate enough that I got a good GET score to, reach to IITs and, receive good, technology background from IIT. And I was able to, combine the two great sciences together. And I think that's what interdisciplinary science, interdisciplinary work, research work really means. And I'm very happy, Chajar sir, you have been associated, and I'm sure we will take this ahead, sir, with help of Dr. Sharma, Dr. Vinayotri. I mean, we discussed about so many possibilities last time. Let us work on that in that direction, sir. Definitely.
Ramnathan sir is from IIT Mumbai. He is an alumni of IIT Mumbai, as you are. He is from technology field. Thank you very much once
Thank
again.
You, sir. Thank you, sir.
We have today one of such a wonderful personality. I know him very personally since long, almost 32 years now.
Yeah.
And he is Dr. Santosh Nevapurkar. Very talented, very active, very innovative, and yet having his roots on the classical Ayurveda. He is innovator by nature and he has certain patents on his names. He is Ayurveda Guru to Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapit, and I want him to present what he has innovated to the Ayurveda fraternity and worldwide Ayurveda people who wanted to know how the innovations are working today from the classical world of Ayurveda. Santosh Nevapurkar ji, please.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Vaidya Santosh Nevapurkar from Aurangabad. First of all, I want to thank Vaidya Sharma ji from Kolkata and Vaidya Chajar ji from Mumbai. A patient with reference to late Vaidya Kasture sir came to my clinic on 1993. 1993 में मेरे पास वैद्य कस्तूरे जी का रेफरेंस शीट लेके रुग्ण आया था और कस्तूरे सर जी ने उनको कहा था कि इनको रक्त बस्ती देना है और उनका उस समय में ड्रॉप रेट था एचबी का 2.5 ग्राम्स पर वीक इतना था. आफ्टर एवरी 15 डेज उनको 2 या 3 पिंट ब्लड लेना उस समय में उनका चालू था. तो कस्तूरे सर ने कहा था कि भाई आपको इनको रक्त बस्ती देना है. तो 1993 से लेके 1995 तक रक्त बस्ती और कुछ तरह के बस्ती ऐसे मैंने ट्राई किए थे, लेकिन उसमें कुछ आगे भविष्य नहीं दिख रहा था, लेकिन रुग्ण का मनोबल बहुत अच्छा था। और कस्तूरे सर जी ने भी कहा था कि आपको और अभ्यास करना है। तो चरक चिकित्सा अध्याय 28 वात व्याधि चिकित्सा है, उसका बेस लेके एक फार्मास्यूटिकल कंपोजिशन जिसका नाम था दशमूलाधि मज्जा स्नेह। आयुर्वेद में घृत, तैल, वसा, मज्जा, इस 4 तरह के स्नेह यूज किए जाते हैं। ज्यादा से तैल और घृत यही यूज किए जाते हैं। वसा और मज्जा बहुत ही रेयर यूज किए जाते हैं। लेकिन जब आप मज्जा बनाते हैं या वसा बनाते हैं तो उसका लाइफ ऑफ स्पैन भी बहुत कम रहता है, 2-3 डेज इतना ही रहता है, आप चाहे उसको फ्रीज में भी रखें। तो इस रुग्ण के बारे में मैंने इस सिद्ध मज्जा का इस्तेमाल किया। 1996 से लेके अभी 2021 तक इस रुग्ण को एक भी ब्लड पिंड लेना नहीं पड़ा है। जो मेरे पास आए थे 1993 में तो उनका एज भी था 2.5 ओनली, इस तरह से। और मुझको कहने में भी बड़ी खुशी होती है कि अभी तक उनके मेरे पास 275 इतने रिपोर्ट्स हैं, हीमोग्लोबिन के इतने रिपोर्ट्स है पूरे सीबीसी के। तो इस तरह 1996 को उनको एक भी ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन लेना नहीं पड़ा है। डिसीज था माइलोफाइब्रोसिस, बहुत ही रेयर डिसीज है, माइलाइट टाइप ऑफ डिसऑर्डर है। लाइन ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट में रहता है कि आपको बोन मैरो ट्रांसप्लांट करना है या स्टेरॉइड्स लेना है या सल्फोनामाइड्स लेना है, इतना ही, या ट्रांसफ्यूजन लेना है। और रुग्णों को कहा जाता है कि आपको विदिन 6 मंथ्स आपको चूज करना है आपको क्या करना है। तो ये रुग्ण के बारे में मैंने ऐसा ही बस्ती और उस स्नेह से ट्रीटमेंट चालू रखा। 2002 तक ये होने के बाद में और कुछ पेशेंट्स आने लगे। तो इस तरह से अभ्यास होने के बाद में 2012 में मैंने पेटेंट के लिए, इस प्रोसेस पेटेंट के लिए अप्लाई किया और 2021 में लास्ट सितंबर में यह प्रोसेस गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने, प्रोसेस पेटेंट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने ग्रांट किया। अभी तक पूरे भारतवर्ष से नियर अबाउट 78 पेशेंट्स जो है माइलोफाइब्रोसिस के मेरे पास है। और मैं चाहता हूं कि यह इनोवेशन आपके साथ भी शेयर करूं। आज थोड़ा सा मैं पावर पॉइंट नहीं कर सका, नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन कर दूंगा। आप सभी को मेरे धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नेपोरकर सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। You have contributed for Ayurveda. This is a matter of proud for us. Really great, great sir. Thank you, संजय जी।
थैंक यू संतोष जी। बड़ा अच्छा लगता है जब किसी न ठीक होने वाली बीमारी के लिए कोई वैद्य प्रयत्न करता है और उस प्रयत्न को सक्सेसफुली करते हुए उसको बार बार वही चीज को दोहरा सकता है, और तभी शास्त्र उपबृहित होता है। आपसे बहुत उम्मीदें पूरे विश्व को है, क्योंकि इस प्रकार से रक्त का क्षय करने वाली बीमारियां जो किसी भी प्रकार की नॉर्मल चिकित्सा को, बोन मारो ट्रांसप्लांट करो या स्टेरॉइड्स दो, बड़े पैमाने पे सल्फोनामाइड्स दो, आज के तारीख में बहुत सारी केमोथेरेपीज का प्रयोग किया जाता है, वो ठीक नहीं होती है। और ऐसे स्थिति में ये रक्त बस्ती का प्रयोग या जो आपने दशमूल बेस्ड तेल का मज्जा स्नेह का जो प्रयोग किया, वो एक दिशा दर्शक, जिसको मैं कहूंगा एक पायोनियरिंग वर्क जो आपने किया, और आपका उसको पेटेंट भी मिला है। आपको मैं बधाई देना चाहता हूं मेरे पर्सनल तौर पर और आयुर्वेद फैटर्निटी की तरफ से। एक रक्त को बढ़ाने वाला व्यक्ति हमारे साथ था, और आज हमारे साथ एक दूसरा व्यक्ति है, डॉक्टर रमेश राजगुरु, जो रक्त मोक्षण को अपने चिकित्सा का साधन बनाए हुए है। रक्त को बढ़ाने वाला एक है तो रक्त को निकालने वाला दूसरा है। तो और बड़े बड़े पैमाने पर रक्त को निकालने के साथ बहुत ही असाध्य व्याधियों में बहुत उम्दा तरीके से, बहुत जिसको हम कहते हैं ना जिगर के साथ चिकित्सा करने की क्षमता रखने वाले डॉक्टर रमेश राजगुरु जी। जैसे संतोष जी मेरे कलीग रहे, हम एक ही डिपार्टमेंट में पढ़ाने का प्रयास करते थे। संतोष जी बड़ा बहुत मेहनती व्यक्तिमत्व है, मैं थोड़ा सा गर्म दिमाग का हूँ तो उतनी मेहनत नहीं कर पाता हूँ। तो आज जो हमारे साथ जो राजगुरु जी है वो मेरे साथी है अंडर ग्रेजुएट के। हम साथ में पढ़े बीएमएस अहमदनगर आयुर्वेद कॉलेज से, और बाद में मैं अपने चक्कर में रहा, जामनगर गया, जामनगर से औरंगाबाद गया और फिर विश्व में घूमता रहा। राजगुरु जी ने अपना प्रयास और अपना प्रवास रक्त मोक्षण के साथ किया। मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहता हूं रमेश राजगुरु जी को, और सुनना चाहते हैं उनसे कि क्या उनकी ये जर्नी रक्त मोक्षण की रही, क्या इनोवेशंस उन्होंने किए जिससे ये रक्त मोक्षण करना सभी वैद्यों के लिए आसान बने। रमेश राजगुरु जी प्लीज। राजगुरु जी।
हेलो।
हाँ जी प्लीज।
पहली बार मैं आपको धन्यवाद देता हूं कि इस बड़े प्लेटफॉर्म पे आपने मुझे ये मौका दिया है। और मैं ज़्यादा बड़ा आदमी तो नहीं हूं, लेकिन इनोवेशन के बारे में आपने कहा है तो मुझे लगता है कि मैं इनोवेशन कर रहा हूं या कुछ कर रहा हूं ये मेरे समझ में नहीं आता है। लेकिन जो भी है, जस्ट वॉच दिस वीडियो, देन आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट। यस, शर्मा सर, प्लीज स्टार्ट योर वीडियो। ये पेशेंट है, he is having plantar fasciitis. Actually he was from Indore, so this was the maximum paining area where I am doing prachana karma. Everyone knows that how prachan is the, so this is a syringe. Actually this syringe is invented by Dr. Narendra Gujrati from Jalgaon. I heard him in 2000. International conference was held in Jalgaon. At that time he innovated this syringe, but in a specific condition I use this syringe for Parshni-Shul, and I got fantastic results with the help of this syringe. So this is the application of syringe. This is the collection of blood in the syringe. Only 5 ml of pressure is applied here, and collection is very gradually, you see, is correct in the syringe. This all is a occult blood inside that Parshni area that gives a lot of pain in the morning. तो ऐसे करते करते ये बाय फ्लूक ऐसा हो गया है। पहले पेशेंट को हमने now the syringe is totally approximate हो गया है काम में। Now we are relieving the pressure. This is a total occult blood inside. Yeah. Now the procedure is totally completed. Sharma sir, you can stop this video now. You can stop this video now. Yeah. तो हमारे आयुर्वेद में पार्शनी शूल नाम का जो व्याधि दिया है, एक्चुअली उसका वर्णन बहुत कम दिया है, वेरी रेयरली। ये कूर्चशीर मर्म करके उन्होंने खाली उसका नाम बताया है। और ये जो है ये मर्म स्नायु मर्म है। और बहुत सारे पेशेंट इसके ग्रामीण एरिया में ज्यादा मिले हैं। तो ऑल द सिम्टम्स ऑब्जर्व इन दिस कंडीशन वेयर पेन इन द हिल, extreme pain in the morning time, patient can't walk properly in the morning. Then examination, as a routine examination, हम बीपी चेक कर सकते हैं, पेनफुल एरिया वैसे मैंने आपको बताया वैसे, palpation of the parsnip with the help of index finger, and locality of the pain should be examined very carefully because we have to cut or we have to take the prachan karma over that area. Blood investigations are very necessary. Then स्पेसिफिक एग्जामिनेशन जो है वो एक्सरे कैल्केनियम करना भी चाहिए, ना किए तो भी चलता है, बिकॉज ऑल द ऑर्थोपेडिक्स दे आर undergone all these x-rays and says that patient that this your calcaneal area is projected towards the this thing towards the ground. That is why you are having lot of pain. They are managing this condition with giving injections, locosteroid injections, but they are helpless. Sir, observation मैंने आपको अभी बताया है, आपने अभी वीडियो में देखा है। तो कंक्लूजन पे आता हूं मैं डायरेक्टली। विद द हेल्प ऑफ प्रच्छान्न कर्म एंड रक्तमोक्षण वी कैन गिव कंप्लीट रिलीफ टू द पेशेंट ऑफ पार्श्लिशिप। तो बहुत सारे पेशेंट देखे हैं इन रूरल्स में, मैंने अबाउट 79 पेशेंट देखे, अर्बन एरिया में 19 पेशेंट। दिस वाज द डेटा व्हेन आई प्रेजेंटेड माय पेपर इन नेशनल सेमिनार held in YMT College, Kharghar, Mumbai. At that time, this was the data. Now, from 2000 to 2010, this was the data, and now up to 2022, I got a lot of patients, and I have worked very क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग, बहुत सारा काम किया। तो बहुत सारे पेशेंट, अभी पेशेंट टू पेशेंट ही मेरा रेफरेंस आता है, इसलिए मैं ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा यही पे काम करता हूँ अहमदनगर में। और इसके जो हम लोग एक नोटिस करेंगे तो मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस दे आर फीमेल पेशेंट्स, देन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस आर फार्मर एंड पुअर क्लास।
रमेश जी, स्लाइड्स विजुअलाइज नहीं है।
मैं स्लाइड्स नहीं दे रहा हूँ, मैं खाली आपको रेफरेंस दे रहा हूँ, बाकी कुछ नहीं है। स्लाइड्स है मेरे पास, लेकिन आई डोंट वांट टू टेक योर लॉट ऑफ टाइम बिकॉज और अदर स्पीकर्स आल्सो देयर। ओनली वन रेफरेंस इज देयर फ्रॉम वाग्भट सूत्रस्थान अध्याय 27 और 4 नंबर का श्लोक जो है, शीतोष्ण स्निग्धरुक्षादय उपगांता चेगदाः सम्यक साध्यन सिद्ध्यन्ति ते च रक्त प्रकोपजाः। ऐसा एक रेफरेंस है that this is easily treatable, but do not respond to shita ushna and snigdha ruksha chikitsa, that then they are from rakta prakopa vyadhi, and हम लोगों को ख्याल रखना चाहिए। तो इसके लिए जो करना है, तेषु श्रावयितुम रक्तम उद्रिक्तम यदेत शिराम। तो शिरावेद एक्चुअली बताया है, लेकिन प्रच्छान कर्म हम लोग प्रिफर करेंगे, क्योंकि कूर्चशीर मर्म ये एक स्थान है। दूसरी बात, कूर्चशीर मर्म का जो प्रमाण दिया है वो 1 अंगुल दिया है। 1 अंगुल के लिए सुश्रुत ने हमें प्रच्छान कर्म ही बताया है। तो प्रच्छान कर्म से रिजल्ट अच्छे आते हैं और पेशेंट 99 या 100% टोटली अच्छा हो जाता है। तो इतना ही मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि आप अपने प्रैक्टिस में जो करना है वो डेयरिंग से करें, क्योंकि वाग्भट ने एक वाग्भट चिकित्सा अध्याय 22 वातव्याधि चिकित्सा में ऐसे बताया है, इति संक्षेपतः प्रोक्तम अवृत्तानाम चिकित्सा, अवृत्तवाद की चिकित्सा में बताया है। प्राणादिनाम भिषक, आप जैसे लोग कुर्यात वितर्क्य, वितर्क्य बोले तो हम लोगों ने संशोधन करना चाहिए। और हम लोगों ने हमारे ओपीडी में जो भी है वो डेयरिंग से अप्लाई करना चाहिए। इतना ही मैं कहना चाहता हूँ। मुझे समय देने के लिए धन्यवाद। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मैं डॉक्टर पवन शर्मा जी और जयेश ठक्कर जी को भी धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ कि उन्होंने मुझे चुना और मुझे कुछ बताने का मौका दिया। और दूसरी बात ये कि वीडियो प्रेजेंटेशन सब कुछ बताता है इंस्टेड ऑफ शोइंग ऑल द स्लाइड्स। तो आपने देखा है, आप बार बार देख सकते हैं। डॉक्टर पवन शर्मा के पास मेरा वीडियो पड़ा है, आप वहाँ से उनसे मांग लीजिए और देख लीजिएगा और अपने प्रैक्टिस में अप्लाई करते रहिएगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
धन्यवाद रमेश जी, बहुत शानदार। और आपने और एक इनोवेटर का एक इनोवेशन जो बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से रक्त मोक्षण में इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है, डॉक्टर नरेंद्र गुजराती जी, उनका इनोवेशन भी हमारे सम्मुख रखा। मैं आपका धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ। और ये प्लांटर फेशियाटिस जो है काफी तकलीफ देह बीमारी है, जिसका एक आसान इलाज आपने दिखाया। धन्यवाद। हमारे साथ नाड़ी परीक्षा के लिए और एक इंजीनियर है। जब नाड़ी गुरु मॉडरेटर होगा तो नाड़ी परीक्षा के इनोवेटर्स होंगे। तो वी हैव विथ अस टुडे Mr. Basavraj, an engineer by qualification and an acupuncture practitioner by passion. He has used his technological understanding for understanding the finer points of acupuncture through Nadi Pariksha, the machine he has developed. We have two machines today, three machines rather. We had Ayurveda, which was using photoplethysmography. We had Nadi Tarangini and Turya, which is using pressure plethysmography. They had a very specific pressure sensors, while Ayurveda is using the photo cameras for understanding the plethysmographs. And now we have Mr. Basavraj from Basava Anvekshan, Prachin Anvekshan, who is using the acoustic nature of the Nadi for understanding the various algorithms. And he has developed an algorithm which is based on Ayurveda too. I've been using his machine for long, and I'm really happy with the outcome. I would like to add one more thing about Ayurveda. In this lockdown, where the Nadi Pariksha was not possible for my distant patients because they were not allowed to travel, for them, I used Ayurveda with excellent outcome. And it helped me very well to understand the Nadi of the patient and to treat them distantly at a remote location. So may I take this opportunity to invite Mr. Basavraj for his talk on Nadi Swara. Mr. Basavraj, please.
Good evening, all.
Good evening, Basavraj ji.
Good evening, dear. Good evening. Welcome.
One minute, sir. Just a minute. I will take a time to just upload. Yeah. Thank you all. Good evening, Nadi Guru Sanjay. My screen is
Yeah, it is visible, but it is in the portrait mode.
portrait mode now.
Now it is landscape. Yes, that is good.
Good. So thank you. I came to my village. I cannot switch on the video here. So shall I continue with PPT?
Please, as the way you like.
Thank you very much for inviting us. So since many years, the Nadi Pariksha is attracting me towards the health science. So even though I started career as an engineer, as an assistant professor, I finally ended with my destiny as a healer. So, in fact, every moment of the healing profession, I'm enjoying this, and we are working towards the well-being of the society. Since last 1.5 decades, so we are into this healing and as well as research. So through our research and as well as practice, we ourselves grown a lot, because you know that any person who is entering from the a non-medical background into the healing session, so how it will be. So we just started our career by knowing only the 5 elements and the 3 dosha and yin and yang principles in the traditional Chinese medicine. And of course, there's a good and bad learnings. We cannot say bad learnings, somewhat deviated learnings. And finally, so we came out with the pulse diagnosis and tongue diagnosis and iris diagnosis, many more things. So finally, we end up with 2 things, pulse and symptoms, because these 2 are very nearest language of the body, through which your body speaks in the form of the color of the skin, patient voice, and pulse, and many more things. So through this, we started extracting data. So of course, we got a very good team who are expert in designing apps and designing algorithm by using finite automata and fuzzy logics and artificial intelligence and all. Due to that, our data storage and data analysis become easy. So the use patient flow. So we take care around 100 to 150 patients in our Basava Natural Healing Center. Of course, it's very difficult to remember and track the data, but that the work is done by my team using modern technologies. So we evolved with the Nadiswara and we launched in 2018. Our research started in 2013 as a assistant professor in Jain University. So this 5 years of research in the field of pulse diagnosis, it given the insights of the pulse in the form of signal processing and data analysis. So parallelly, we are very more curious into correlating to the patient data, because many of us, 2-3 people, they're telling same symptoms. Maybe there's a heat related symptoms, or according to Pitta, Ayurveda, they may call Pitta related symptoms. But when you analyze with respect to TCM, so we are ending with a different root diagnosis. Someone, they may have issues with the lower abdomen, someone is having issues with the cervical and upper warmer. So we come out with the theory of either deficiency or excess, or yin or yang principle with respect to pulse and diagnosis. When you touch the patient pulse, you feel the force, the strength, and the speed. Along with that, there is one pattern that is called Gati of the Nadi. So by using all this data, now we are planning to simplify the pulse diagnosis, even the diagnosis of the any chronic and acute diseases. So we came out with the principle of yin and yang deficiency or excess. Any disease which falls either a deficiency category or excess category. So again, that deficiency or excess, it happens in the different meridians and different organs, and as well as in the different tissues. So Nadiswara is aiming that by using that, so it is taking the pulse pattern and analyzing even emotions of the patient and as well as the physical and mind patterns. In the previous speakers, they're talking about the depth of the pulse. Yes, this depth of the pulse is also there in the TCM principle, what we designed the Nadiswara. Superficially, we check out with the functionality of the organ or a functionality of the system. That is called chi level. In the middle, we call it as a blood. The blood is the one which is responsible for nourishing the body. And the deeper one, it is the organ level or interior level of the pulse. It is indicating the status of the organ. So through pulse, so we are extracting the data in the middle level, not superficial or deep. This is giving the status of the nourishment. Here we mixed the principle of Ayurveda, means the gati of the Nadi. Because in TCM, we speak about superficial or deep, or it is a speed or fast or deficiency or excess. But the pattern pulse is not there in TCM. So that principle we took from the Ayurveda. Then we came out with the organ level deficiency or excess. That given the complete picture of chi, blood, and organ level. So with this, so we came out with a pulse diagnosis output. So here we are giving importance to all. We need speed, also pattern, also the strength. With these three patterns, three attributes, so we are coming out with whether organ is a deficiency or excess. For example, this is the 5-element pattern we normally get who is having digestive disorders. So one earth is indicating the excess yang or digestive system. So when there is a air element is there, what we call vayu in Ayurveda. So in TCM, it is air means it's a lungs, which is responsible for producing the chi in the body. This chi, which flowing all the meridians and nourishing and as well as giving the functional energy to all the tissues and organs. When you get earth and air, the earth means it's a digestive system, and the air means it's indicating the chi deficiency. So when you correlate with the patient and try to cross check, so almost 90% of the patients, they're telling that yes, they have some issues with the digestion system, either simple gastritis or chronic, even in diabetes levels, and even the disorders of the elimination system and all. So in this how, so we are going with whether it is a chi deficiency or a blood deficiency, or it's a yang deficiency of the organ. We are going with even disease progress also. When you are not treating the chi deficiency in the initial level, because many of us just ignoring the what simple gastritis it is, what simple constipation and acidity, acid reflux. They simply take or any gastric antacid medicines and just simply ignore it. So if you are not treating that, so the chi deficiency of the digestion system in the long run end up with the cold invasion of the spleen and pancreas. So they end up with the excess of coldness. Here the primary element is earth, and the second highest element is raised cold. So always cold is indicating the slow pulse and as well as deficiency pulse. So digestion is under deficiency. So definitely there's symptoms matches with the cold symptoms with the poor appetite, and the spleen is which is responsible for water metabolism. When it is unable to do, so they end up with a water accumulation here and there, making the stool formation will be loose, and abdominal heaviness will be there. So further, if you won't treat a few more months or years, so they end up with a kidney chi deficiency or kidney yang deficiency. It's a next level of disease progress. So this is what we observed in our patients. So when you are treating in an acute level and then beginning level, the process will be easier and much simpler. But if you keep on take medicines and getting relief, that in the long run, even for the healer as well as for the patient, it takes a long effort to cure. We've seen many people who are coming with the diabetes or blood pressure in the beginning of the diseases in identifying within 1 or 2 months or within 6 months. So we reversed many. It is possible. But when you keep on take medicines for BP, thyroid and blood pressure for decades together, and if you come to the any healers or doctors, so it will be very difficult because the disease is already progressed from the simple Chi deficiency to the chronic dampness and yang deficiency in the body. So through Nadiswara, we are creating the awareness to the patients and as well as to the healers how to identify and how to analyze the patient. It's getting report from Nadiswara is it's not sufficient. One should learn. So what is the importance of the each and every elements what we diagnose, either in the Tridosha or in the Panchamahabhutas. Through this only, so we are identifying the organ level and subdosha level. So here, for example, if you take one more example, so by seeing the pulse pattern, so I can easily tell what is going on in the pulse patient mind and as well as in the body. So it's the lungs, air and water. There may be a excess of cold in the upper warmer because everyone knows that lung is a vayu, means atmosphere. What is the job of atmosphere in the nature? It is creating the rains, means it is pushing water downward. Due to evaporation, it is creating the clouds and going up. So vayu is responsible for pushing downward the water. When it is unable to push down, so in the body also lung is pushing water downward and it is moisturizing your digestion system as well as kidney. When lung fails to do that action, the water accumulates in the upper body. So that creates some lethargy, sinus and numbness, and as well as constipation and other related issues, which is the deficiency of the water. That finally ending up with, because according to Feynman theory of TCM, the lung is mother of kidney. So they end up with the kidney indeficiency. And like that, even it is also related with the emotions also. So lung is controlling upper body. So when lung become cold, even mind becomes slow and mind become fearful. It is not aggressive. So it is started working with a defensive nature. So with that, they end up with the fear of loss and feeling low and dissatisfaction. So one glory is with the Nadiswara, it is not only a diagnosis tool. So accurately, it is suggesting only one point. That one point you can trigger with either methi or pepper seed by just applying with your what we so called simple methi or pepper, as is shown in the picture right now. So it is Nadiswara shown with one or two blinking points, either red or blue color. Red means is tonification and dark blue is sedation. For example, if you say, if you get a red dot on K7, who's having water deficiency in the body. So by just put pepper seed on the K7 and after 10-15 minutes, you remove it. Either you can try right now. It increases body coldness within 24 hours. That I can say 99% it works. And you can see the changes within 2-3 days of application of Nadiswara point. And you can see the changes in the even body symptoms and mind level also. Who are good at acupuncture, they can use also body acupuncture points, because I shown here it's a sujok. It is a simplified and it's a miniature of meridians. So if you're already good at acupuncture, you can use body acupuncture points as shown here. Okay. So this is what Nadiswara is giving 7 pages report, and without giving much data, we given data which is required for the healers, especially who's practicing TCM, what they need, the 5 elements and tridosha, and as well as body wellness and thought patterns, and some drugless therapies like acupressure and 1-point single therapy. So with that, we reached more than 1,000 users across more than 50 countries. And especially 90% of the times, it's again used by TCM practitioners. We are also clients around 10-15%, even a normal layman also using this. But for them, we are conducting some free trainings to use better and all. So things are going well, but as input comes more and more with AI and machine learning. So we are again fine-tuning our data and trying to give much specific and needed data in near future. Like people are wanting a few more data in the food level and their exercises level and yoga asana practices and all. So we are working in that level. Maybe near future we are coming out with so specific food patterns, because we did equal research like how we did the research on the acupuncture point and pulse. We also did equal research on the food. So based on the pulse pattern, we are giving 1 point or one food or one fruit or vegetable. That is creating the huge impact on the body. So for example, it's take liver chi stagnation. So who's having liver chi is very deficient. It is the liver is unable to create the momentum in the body. So we just give a specifically take one pomegranate juice between afternoon 11 to 2 o'clock, 3 days. By 4th day, you can see the huge difference. So like that, based on different patterns. So if it is a dry cold is there, is a upper warmer coldness. So we will tell just taking a ginger tea without putting milk. So just for 3 or 4 days. So you can see the huge warmness in the upper warmer, and that you can see the improvements in the symptoms also. So like that, we are identifying more than 70 patterns in the body. Based on this, we are suggesting the single point and as well as the food suggestions. So I hope the research, the data what we are collecting and doing the research. So we are expecting that this through this device, we are going to simplify the diagnosis and as well as treatment and giving the best solution. I personally feel that treatment suggestions and as well as diagnosis, both are easy, but people not getting that data, because I seen thousands of people expressing their emotions. Oh, sir, I suffered this IBS since 10 years, but it's healed in 2 months. That too without medicine, but that too without taking anything. But they suffered many years, because many researchers has to come to the society level. In the people, they are move into the people, and they should train and they should reach their data, research data, saying that nothing is incurable, because people used to sell in modern perspective. Okay, once IBS is there, it's lifelong, it will be there. Once sinusitis is there, it will be there. But in the research journey, we've seen that nothing disease like incurable. It may be incurable in some systems, it may not be in some systems. Of course, I also agree there is a limitations of acupuncture and many other systems. But when we work collectively, like pulse diagnosis is the one that's a universal diagnosis for most of the all the alternate therapist users. So we can come and you can show our data to the people, to the common man, and saying that yes, it is possible to cure without medicine. That is needed in the future. So with that, we also planning to move into the common man society and publishing and as well as presenting our data, showing that curing is possible without anything. A small modification of the food and energy alignment giving a great data, great output. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you all. Thank you, Sanjay Nadi sir, Nadi Guru Sanjay sir. And thank you all the people for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Very nicely explained. Briefly and nicely, both. Great.
Thank you.
Salute to your efforts. Salute to your efforts. Sanjay ji.
Sir, Basavaraj ji is doing a wonderful job, as he is a very passionate acupuncture specialist. He is using his knowledge to acupuncture and acupressure more. But now he is slowly developing, with the help of machine learning and AI-based understanding and algorithms, the algorithm for Ayurveda. And I would definitely like to share one thing. Out of multiple there are multiple machines for Nadi Pariksha, but Nadi Swara is probably the easiest possible machine available as on today in India. Very easy, just like a pen. You have to keep the pen on the pulse and the things are done. So before we end up this session with Dr. Daga's presentation on his Protoscope, video Protoscope, and the innovations he has developed, I would like to request Vishnu Prasad Sharma sir to give some enlightenment to all of us. He's our mentor and patron all the time. Vishnu Prasad Sharma sir.
I hope he is disconnected.
Okay.
So we can proceed further.
Dr. Daga is an Ayurveda graduate and practitioner of proctology and related diseases in Aurangabad. He owns a hospital named Shriji Hospital, one of the finest and best equipped Ayurveda hospital, we can say. He, as a practitioner, always felt some deficiency in his practice, and he has developed and innovated few things. One of them, which I remember all my time, is this video proctoscope, but he might have developed something more. So now I invite Dr. Girish Daga to give us the insights of the innovations he has made and how they are helpful for Ayurveda practitioners worldwide. Dr. Daga, please.
Thank you, sir. Firstly, I pray my gratitude to Lord Dhanvantari, to all my gurus, Dr. Sanjay Chhajar sir, Dr. Neupurkar sir, and all my seniors. I give my thanks to organizer Dr. Sharma sir and his team to given us a chance to elaborate our innovation. And also I congratulate all the innovators who have presented so nicely and executed their thought. The execution of your thought is more important, and really I am very much happy to be on this dais. I special thanks to organizer, because all the organizer are from the physician field. Still they have given a chance to a surgeon to elaborate my innovation. Myself, Dr. Girish Daga, I am from Aurangabad, Maharashtra. I have completed my graduation from Yavatmal and post-graduation from Jamnagar, Gujarat University. From last 22 years, I am doing proctology practice at Aurangabad in my hospital, Daga Piles Hospital. Friends, as you all of know that proctology, in proctology, the examination tools are very limited. Tools are there, and one of the major tool is proctoscope. And I think most of the doctors have used this instrument in their practice. The main benefit of this proctoscope, this gives a in obstructed view to examine the anal canal. Because as you know that anal words always remain closed, so you can't examine the anal canal without the proctoscope. And in distal part of the rectum can also be seen through this proctoscope. The mainly use of this proctoscope in proctological practice is to examine the hemorrhoids, rectal polyps, anal papilla, sometimes internal opening of the anal fistula, sometimes the ulcers or fissures. In some cases, we can use this proctoscope for treatment purpose also, while sclerotherapy, that is the injection therapy, or while doing the pratisarnik shara or kshara prakshalan. So this is the basic introduction of this proctoscope. The person who are doing proctology practice, they can agree with me that this proctoscope, conventional proctoscope, is having a little limitations. What limitations which I have faced in 2002 when I am doing my I have started my proctology practice. The main limitation of this proctoscope is the visual area is very low, because the lumen of the proctoscope is very much small. Due to that small lumen, we can't examine the anus or the proctological pathology very clearly. And secondly, we can't increase the lumen also, because you can understand, if we increase the lumen of the proctoscope, it will be very difficult to pass that proctoscope through the anal region. So this is the main limitation of this conventional proctoscope. Secondly, the second limitation, that only the examiner can see through this proctoscope. The lumen is so small, it's very difficult to ask somebody to see that pathology. I am seeing a internal piles or polyp or papilla there, or some rectal pathology. Third one more, the limitation of this proctoscope, there is no provision to store the data which I am using or I am seeing through this proctoscope. In conventional proctoscope, there is no such provision that this proctoscope, the visualization of this proctoscope can be stored in the data form. This proctoscope is a metal made, so it's a very rigid, and you can understand the rigid proctoscope can cause some injury while doing the proctological examination. And also in painful pathology, it's a very difficult to introduce that proctoscope to our anal region. So these are the very limitation of this proctoscope. One more big limitation of this proctoscope, both the hands get engaged while doing the proctoscopy. You can understand, in one hand we have to hold the proctoscope, and with the other hand we have to remove the obturator from that proctoscope. So both the hand remain engaged while doing this examination. If I want to do some therapeutic procedure, it is difficult with this proctoscope. You can't ask anybody to hold, because if the lumen of the proctoscope is so small, if the holding person moves, it is difficult to do any therapeutic procedure. One more limitation regarding the light also, it's a very difficult to focus the light inside the proctoscope. If we put light from behind our head, a head comes between the proctoscope and our vision and the light source. If we put a torch, we take a torch, and if we focus in front of the proctoscope, the lumen is so small that the light, that vision get obstructed. So these are the limitation of a conventional proctoscope, which every proctology will agree with me. So as a proctologist, what I expect from this proctoscope, what the instrument should be, it will be easy for me to do the proctoscopy. So the main expectation that proctoscopic view should be enlarged. I can able to enlarge the proctoscopic view. Whatever view I am seeing from the small proctoscope, that can be enlarged on the screen or monitor. Proctoscopy view should be saved. It should be saved for further references or further data collection. Good lighting should be present inside the proctoscope. The most important part of most expectation of our proctologist, that the light source should be very good and it should illuminate all the region of our all the anal region or the proctological view there. One more limitation of this proctoscope, conventional proctoscope, it doesn't give external pathology, that we can't store the external pathology. So my expectation with the instrument, external pathology should be demonstrated on screen. If you are seeing the sentinel tag or thrombotic piles or anal fistula, this all the external pathology should be demonstrated on screen. Proctoscope should be flexible. It is able to show all the screen to the patient relatives also. It will get easy to conceal the patient relatives that the patient is having sentinel piles or a small fistula is there or big fistula is there, or patient is having internal piles and all these things. Procedures can be recorded and saved. Many times it happens that after patient comes after 4 years, 5 years with some different pathology. If my previous operation was recorded, if I have that recording with me, I can compare, oh, that this is the pathology which I have removed, now this is the second another pathology. One more expectation I have with this instrument, that both hands should remain free. If I am doing proctoscopy, my both hands should remain free. If I want to do some therapeutic procedure, I want to take some biopsy or I want to do sclerotherapy, if my both hand remains free, it will be very easy for me to perform the therapeutic procedure. So my one way expectation that both hands should be free. One should able to do some therapeutic procedure, that just now I have told you that therapeutic procedures can be done. So this is the proctoscope which I have made almost in 2003. That time you can agree with me, the digital world was not that much easily available. So it was very difficult to take any photograph on screen and to make things available. So that time I have made this proctoscope at my center here. You can see I have taken one stand which is used for a mic. I have customized that stand and I have made some arrangement there. I have brought that camera. That time I have purchased in 2003 through the eBay of US eBay. That time eBay was not available in India. Now Amazon and lot of e-websites are available. This camera I have purchased from eBay, and I have applied one endoscopic coupler there. I have added one sinoscope, which ENT surgeon were using that time. Now a flexible sinoscopes are available. So that sinoscope I have made available. I have added one cold light source, that light can be easily illuminated the proctological part there. I have attached all these instrument to PC. That time there were no software, so TV tuner card was available there. That with the help of TV tuner card, we have recorded all this recording on our PC. And that snap we were used to copy paste on Word and then give the printout to the patient. After later on, we have developed from third party a software. Nowadays it is automatically getting stored on the software. So this was my very initial proctoscope which I have made in 2003, and almost up to 2017 or 16 I was using this proctoscope only. All the limitations of the conventional proctoscope and all the expectation of our proctologists has overcome through this proctoscope. Just now what I have told you, that this proctoscope has some features, that it is provided with this stand. So my both the hands remain free while doing the proctoscopy. I can do some therapeutic procedures while doing the proctoscopy. It has a high performance camera, so the inner vision are very magnified and very pinpoint. Internal as well as external pathology can be viewed through this. You can, just now you have seen that external pathology also can be viewed through this proctoscope. So diagnosis can be done very to the point and pinpoint. Has a recording facility also, that Protoscope, so the procedure can be recorded and for the future references. Recorded vision can be saved with a case paper of the patient, so record keeping is more accurate and meaningful. Only to keep a record that I have a so and so patient of internal piles, it doesn't have any sense. If you have keeping a record of that picture, because internal piles in after some years they will increase with their sign, they will increase with their size also. If you have a recorded picture recording in your record, you can compare that time patient that came with a second degree internal piles, now it has a prolapse 4th degree internal piles or 3rd degree. So this record keeping is more meaningful. Procedure can be stored in the case paper and can be recalled at any time. This is the biggest advantage of this new digital era. After examination, counseling get easier, as you can show that all the pictures to the patient and his relative, and you can ask them that he has a so and so pathology and we have to remove this pathology, then only this patient will get cured. Provided with the scope, due to which we can view fistula tract and abscesses cavity from inside. So we can see the progress of treatment of abscess cavity or fistula. This is one more the best thing of this proctoscope. It is provided with a sinoscope. Under anesthesia, you can put that sinoscope in the fistula tract or in the hysterectal abscess cavity. You can visualize that abscess cavity while doing pratisarnik kshar or kshara karma. After doing the kshara karma, again you put that fistula tract, that scope inside the fistula tract. You can see how much part you have burned with that pratisarnik kshar. The remaining tract, if you see that some tract is not being curetized or not being treated with the kshar, you can again put some kshar. So this is one more advantage of this proctoscope. One more feature provided with a stand, so it will encourage transanal treatment. Previously, this proctoscope was made just for diagnosis. Now we have upgraded now we are taking the advantage of the new laparoscopic instrument, and we have started a transanal surgery. So this proctoscope with a stand is very much helpful while doing the transanal surgery. Some transanal treatment like pratisarnik kshar is very easy through this proctoscope. Biopsies are get very easy through this proctoscope. Sclerotherapy, rubber band, and you can nowadays the fistula treatment has been changed. Laser has been changed, so all the fistula treatment and the transanal treatments have get easy with this proctoscope. This proctoscope is very handy, can be carried in your bag, or you can travel with this proctoscope to some another setup also in your ambulatory proctological clinic also. So these are some views which you can take through this proctoscope. Routine proctoscope, no one can show you these views of the internal piles, but with this proctoscope we can show these internal piles to the relatives, or you can store in your data. These are the internal piles. This is the external pathology which we can save. We can save in our record, and you can show to the patient. This is the external pathology of some fistula. These are the what we are upgrading ourselves. These are the proctoscope which we are trying to use in the transanal surgery. This proctoscope has one attachments there, and through that attachment, through that coupling, you can introduce the laparoscopic instrument also to take a biopsy, to make a hemorrhoidoplasty there. If you want to do hemorrhoidoplasty, you don't need to open that anal canal. You can easily do with a transanal proctoscope. You can see one stand we are making, and on that stand you can hold that proctoscope. So these are the advantage of the proctoscope, which the conventional proctoscope don't have. So this is the short story of my instrument, which I have made almost 17-20 years back, and we have upgraded this instrument in this last 20 years. But no doubt, as an engineer, we have not upgraded that much. But surely I can say you that previously that instrument was a benefit only to diagnose. But nowadays we are using this instrument for treatment also, for transanal surgery also. So with this short presentation, I would like to give thanks to Dr. Sharma sir and my mentor, Dr. Chhajer sir also. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Girish, wonderful to see your journey from a mechanical proctoscope to an most updated with fiber whole light sources, and on the top of it, internal surgical procedures which can be done through the proctoscope. I am really delighted, but I have one question.
Yes, sir.
And that question is very simple. Because if this proctoscope is so handy, so transportable, and so easy to use, many of our practitioners would like to use it. Can you just suggest us what would be the pricing of it?
Yes, sir. We have made some commercial proctoscope in our last 4-5 years. Basically, the simple proctoscope having only a proctoscope and camera, it goes almost up to 20 to 22,000, including the camera, the proctoscope and stand only. And the upgraded version with the trans-anal the facilities and the software, your hospital software, it goes almost up to the 38 to 40,000.
Okay, not very costly. That's wonderful. I'm really glad to have you here on our program and to get updated from you about the proctoscopy and the challenges and how you overcome that. I'm sure that it must be very useful for your practice, and you might be using it extensively there at your Aurangabad clinics and other clinics where you are visiting. Thank you very much once again for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Pawan sir.
हरिओम, एक्सीलेंट एक्सीलेंट दागा जी। मतलब आप लोग ऐसे एक इनोवेटर्स हैं कि जो आयुर्वेद को माइलस्टोन के रूप में अपने छोड़ जाएंगे, अपने चरण चिन्ह
कोने कोने में भारत के
कोने में नो डाउट। God bless you all. God bless you all. Really, all of you have a unique mind. So now session is open for any question from the dignitary of audience. If any question is there, any question, any query, any curiosity or any suggestion, I would like to welcome. Whoever wants to suggest or inquire anything, please unmute your mic and start. I don't hope any question is there. So nicely explained. So for concluding remarks, now I would like to request Professor V.K. Agnihotri sir, former head of the Department of Swasthya, Uttarakhand Ayurveda University, Haridwar. Welcome, Professor. Sir.
Namaskar, Pawan Sharma ji.
Namaskar.
And our best regards to all the dignitaries of today's on and off site, along with the great speakers. First of all, I would like to say some words for our Nadi Guru Chhajer ji. He moderated today's program very well, fantastically. और एक वाक्य बड़े अच्छा सा उनके मुंह से निकल गया, वो मैंने अलग से नोट किया है कि आप गर्म दिमागी वाले बताया आपने को कि हम गर्म दिमागी वाले रहे हैं, बट आज तो आपका अत्यंत मृदु भाव रहा पूरे प्रस्तुतिकरण में, तो आप ऐसे ही बने रहिए। गर्म दिमागी काम नहीं चलता। So what I would like to submit today, I think today's webinar is one of the most rare webinar of the bunch of webinars, say 306. Wonderful information, really it touched and it made indebted our Ved and Guru, our Ayurvedic persons to the engineers, those who made all efforts to promote and to make the Ayurvedic science understandable with the application of the machinery, that too at the latest form. They are engineers, they are IITians. They could have gone for any research work, for any invention of any field, but since they took that how Ayurvedic development, Ayurvedic system which is running inside the body could be traced in a form of record, that too for the common man, for the elite persons, for the educated person, and to make an effort in favor of the Vedas and Gurus. Today, I was very keenly hearing all the persons, and by one, I would like to say, first of all, our first speaker who had been talking about our Rama Nathji Padmanabhamji, he very clearly talked about the Ayurveda. It's for the knowledge of our us all, that which was simply done. Our Professor S.D. Upadhyay, Sardev Upadhyay, who has been there in BHU, he did his works on pulse stasis under the guidance of Professor Yadanand Upadhyay ji and Professor Ramanath Dwivedi ji. But it was simply academic work was there inside the thesis, and little bit they communicated us when we were a student way back in 1977-78. But this applications in a form of new invention, it really opened new vistas to go further and to make a wonderful confidence to the Ayurvedic Vedas that how it can be made practically good. So is the position was put forward by Dr. our Anirudh Joshi ji. Really, they touched such a great field that where we were failed to elaborate and describe that this is Vatic Nadi, Patic Nadi, and in this way you are being diagnosed as Vat-Shrashing Vikara or so, when it is been in a form of trace form, and that it can be taken even the hard copy. So these persons really did a lot of things along not having the knowledge of Ayurveda, but still now quoting shlokas of our text. So really, they put such a great work that Nadi Swara is also been put by in the same position, and how he made important that the third person, our gentleman, Mr. Santosh, Vaidya Santosh ji, he came forward right from 1973 to say 1925. That person for whom he talked about the Rakt Basti. Really, on hearing his submission, I recall our Vedyas, those who are said as Piyush Pani, and they were residing mostly in Maharashtra and Bombay, Mumbai, like our Changani ji, like our Ram Sharma Sahab, and Veni Madhav Ashwini Kumar Sahab. These names are sufficient. These names carry that how Piyush Pani they had been. Our Suresh Chaturvedi ji, as he did the same thing, he saved not only the life, the person is still alive and having a good status of hemoglobin. But one thing which been put forward by our Dr. Anirudh Joshi ji, that 106 stamps or position they put forward as an invented thing, but India's name is not there. He was having a sorry face that Israel, other countries, Japan came forward with the view that they are coming forward. So our summation is this, that Indian engineers should come forward with the view that it may be a concept of stand-up or startup system or vocal for local in these programs of our respected Prime Minister, sir. If Indian technology, Indian engineers come forward to make such use of this knowledge propounded by our Anirudh Joshi ji, we would have gone to much more extent, as India is the home of Ayurveda. So we can better emphasize on these things. Our fourth lecture birthday, our Basav Rao Saab, he also put forward the same thing, that how Nadi system, Nadi Swara could be developed, and now it has gaining some level. And our fifth were our surgeon sir, Dr. Girish Dagaji. he really contributed in such a way that the traditional proctoscope could be replaced by his flexible proctoscope along with the camera, so that this video of I would like to suggest our surgeons. I do hope that Dr. Pawan Kr Sharma from who completed from Jamnagar, and he is here in Rishikul Gurukul, he and our Sunil Joshi sir, our Dr. Ajay Gupta, these if they feel fit, they can manage means demand by government or by university that such type of proctoscope costing 38,000 rupees could be purchased for the better use of the patients, and for the increasing the knowledge of the students, those who are doing MS in Ayurveda and all that. Especially they are doing a lot of work with the char karma, so they need proctoscopy, they need either physiologram and all that. So for that purpose, the anal picture should be made clear with the help of your new one. Is really some milestones in this field of the say anal photography, anal proctoscopy and all that. So thanks a lot, and lot of greetings to all your knowledge and all your submission. It was a great webinar today. Our all thanks to all of you, and over to again Dr. Pawan Sharma and Dr. our Nali Guru, our Chajer ji, Param Mitra Chajer ji.
Pranam sir, thank you very much for your kind words for every speaker. I really appreciate, because technologists, engineers will do innovations, but when a KMS doctor comes forward, while practicing, what difficulty he is getting through, and to overcome those difficulties, putting all his energies, money and time to invent something. And that is where Girish Daga...
I feel complete lecture. I made it.
It's wonderful, sir. So this, and as you have very well suggested, now Sunil sir, Sunil Joshi sir, who is Vice Chancellor, and the surgeon. So he knows what difficulty a surgeon gets to the proctological problems. And this not only in the Uttarakhand University, but it should be available. Such type of proctoscope should be available with every single proctology practitioner.
Exactly. If it will become common, then it will be of great use.
Yeah,
we will save time.
If it is a mass produced, if it is produced on the mass scale, the cost can definitely come
down. Because it will down.
Cost will definitely come down. And as these days we are buying a stethoscope worth 15,000 rupees, so buying a proctoscope for 30,000 rupees is not going to be a very bad idea. And I'm really.
And it will be a permanent feature. You see, if it will handle with care,
it will be for every single surgeon. So imagine the quality of surgery improved. So this is something I think such type of webinars which Ayush Samriddhi is doing is taking this set of knowledge to every single person involved and every stakeholder. So with these words, I would like to pass on the mic to Pawan Sharma sir for conclusion. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to moderate such a wonderful.
Hariom. Excellent, sir. Excellent.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Please.
अभिभूत हो गया आज तो जो मैंने यंग जनरेशन से सीखा है, रियली वो बहुत कुछ सीखने लायक है, और अनिरुद्ध जी से तो मैंने एक बात की है, अभी रिसेंटली अग्निहोत्री जी मैंने पीएचडी के लिए सबमिशन किया है।
वाह।
हाँ, यहाँ वेस्ट बंगाल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ हेल्थ साइंसेज से मैं पीएचडी के लिए फॉर्म भरा हूँ, पेपर वेरीफाई हो गए, एंट्रेंस टेस्ट दूंगा, और उसमें टेलीमेडिसिन में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है सब।
राजन पटंकर जी तो हमें आपसे दिलवा रहे हैं। राजन पटंकर जी तो हमें आपसे वैसे ही दिलवा रहे हैं।
नहीं,
इससे बड़ी ऑनर क्या हो तो रोज कहते हैं।
तो ये मल्टीपल पीएचडी का बाप होगा। अगर पवन भाई करेंगे, एआई बेस्ड करेंगे, तो निश्चित रूप से वो एक भयंकर काम होगा। मैं उनके काम के तरीके को जानता हूँ, कुछ वर्ष उनके साथ।
अनिरुद्ध जी, हमें अनिरुद्ध जी गाइड करेंगे, डॉक्टर अनिरुद्ध जोशी जी से हम गाइडेंस लेंगे कि भाई क्या करना है। फॉर्म तो हमने भर दिया, अब आप बताओ क्या करना है। सीधी बात देखो, कंसेप्ट ये है कि नाड़ी मूत्रम मलम जिह्वा शब्द स्पर्श दृगाकृति, यदि ये कोई छोटा सा चीज बन जाए कंपाउंड टाइप की, और वो टेलीमेडिसिन से हम लोग ठीक कर सकें, वहां एक कंपाउंडर टाइप के आदमी को हम दिखा दें और डायग्नोसिस हम कलकत्ता में बैठे कर लें।
सर ये आयुर्वेदम उस तरीके का ही काम करता है, नंबर 1। और इस तरीके
डायग्नोसिस, परफेक्ट डायग्नोसिस वाली चीज पे आ रहा हूँ, जिसमें मूत्र भी होगा, मल भी होगा, सब होगा।
बिल्कुल 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 होगा। जिह्वा टंग डायग्नोसिस वेल एस्टेब्लिश सॉफ्टवेयर अवेलेबल। मूत्र परीक्षण के लिए कुछ स्टडीज यहाँ पर हमने किए थे बेटिक में, और खड़गपुर IIT का भी आप सहायता ले सकते हैं, क्योंकि उनके यहाँ भी बेटिक डिपार्टमेंट है, बायोमेडिकल इंजीनियरिंग एंड टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन सेंटर। तो ये सब लोग जहाँ पर फंडिंग की कोई कमी नहीं है, और इसके लिए बहुत ज्यादा नहीं लगता है। आपने अगर शांति से सुना होगा रामनाथ जी को, तो उन्होंने एक बात कही, ये क्वेश्चनियर भरना भी लोगों को अच्छा नहीं लगता। तो हमने यहाँ पर एक डॉक्टर एरमे जी है सोलापुर में, मेरी स्टूडेंट रही है, उनके साथ मिलकर प्रकृति परीक्षण का फोटो बेसिक, आपका सिर्फ फोटो देना है बस हर चीज का, और वो फोटो से आप की प्रकृति का सटीक एनालिसिस, सटीक ये करने के एक सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप किया है। और यही
ये रिलायबल है तो संजय जी?
एब्सोल्युटली रिलायबल है सर, क्योंकि फोटो को आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का, आप अगर फेसबुक रेगुलर देखते हैं तो फेसबुक पे एक फीचर आता है, आज से 10 साल के बाद आप कैसे दिखोगे, आज से 40 साल के बाद कैसे दिखोगे, आज से 50 साल के बाद कैसे दिखोगे।
सही कह रहे हैं।
मेजरमेंट लेकर AI बेस्ड अवेलेबल है, और ये इसको सिर्फ आपको इस्तेमाल करना है। हम लोग क्या होता है आयुर्वेद वाले के साथ सबसे बड़ी समस्या ये है कि हम संहिता के साथ इतना पक्का बंध गए हैं कि उससे बाहर देखना ही नहीं चाहते। संहिता बैठ गई, संहिता बहुत सही है, संहिता सबसे उत्तम है, कोई बात नहीं, पर हमको संहिता को पीछे लेकर अपनी आंखों से आज के रिलेवेंस में देखना पड़ेगा। संहिता को छोड़ना नहीं है, संहिता के साथ ही चलना है, पर उसको टेक्नोलॉजी का जोड़ देना है। आज के इस इनोवेशन वेबिनार में से इतना एक संदेशा हम आयुर्वेद फैटर्निटी तक पहुंचा सके, तो मुझे लगता है कि ये वेबिनार जो है वो सुपर सक्सेसफुल हो गए।
फ्रॉम नॉलेज टू टेक्नोलॉजी, फ्रॉम नॉलेज टू टेक्नोलॉजी,
ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज with the help of technology, making it relevant for the today's world.
That's what I'm telling you.
आज के तारीख में मेरे बच्चे को समझ में तो आना चाहिए वहां लिखा क्या है। हम आपस में उलझे रहेंगे, क्लोब शब्द का ये विपत्ति है, ये उत्पत्ति है, ये लुट प्रत्यय लगाएगा, ये लुट प्रत्यय लगाएगा, परेशान। हमको नहीं आता है संस्कृत। हर जो BMS में आने वाले बच्चे को संस्कृत कहाँ आता है? अभी जो थोड़े बहुत संस्कृत जानने वाले, उन्होंने संस्कृत का अभ्यास करना, उसको कोई मना ही नहीं है, पर हमारा अपेक्षा यह है कि नए जो संस्कृत जानने वाले विद्वान है, जो आयुर्वेद के विद्वान है, उन्होंने उस शास्त्र को आज के युगानुरूप बनाना चाहिए, और ये बारंबार से होने वाली प्रक्रिया होनी चाहिए। चलो सर जी, धन्यवाद,
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी को, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आज का बहुत ही उपयोगी वेबिनार रहा। स्पीकर्स को, डिग्निटरीज को, सभी को हार्दिक आभार। कल मिलेंगे वाजीकरण चिकित्सा के लिए, 4 स्पीकर बोलेंगे वाजीकरण चिकित्सा। सेक्स एंड रिप्रोडक्टिव हेल्थ अवेयरनेस डे है कल।